How's it going, my dreamers? This is Born to Dream, here with another raid boss guide for you guys. And earlier today, you should have seen the Shiftry raid boss guide. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out that raid boss guide if maybe you need some help with Shiftry. It's a tier 4 raid boss, so, you know, there might be some things that you might want to learn about Shiftry that I talk about in that video. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. Also, I want to do Lunatone and Solrock if I can get the videos out quick enough before they disappear. So be on the lookout for that. If the video doesn't come out, it's because I didn't get a chance to record all the clips that I need to do these raid boss guides. But anyways, we're here today to talk about our little crab friend here, Crawdaunt. Now, Crawdaunt being a water dark type, it's pretty much the same thing as like soloing a Sharpedo, because Sharpedo is a water dark type, Crawdaunt's a water dark type, so they're very, very similar. So if you've soloed a Sharpedo before, you've basically soloed the Crawdaunt. Only thing is Crawdaunt is a little bit bulkier, just a little bit. I don't think it's the bulkiest thing in the world, but Sharpedo is so frail that Gengar looks like a major tank compared to it. So that more speaks along the lines of just how frail Sharpedo is and not how bulky Crawdaunt is. But it is a little bulkier. So if we look at its stats here, it's not really good. And that's kind of the theme with a lot of these Mons this round, unfortunately, is they're not really good. Except for, you know, Absol and that sort of stuff. But you can get them shiny too. But you're not going to really power up a Crawdaunt. This is more of if you want to do the challenge or whatever. It's more so for that. So I don't think it's that difficult of a raid boss either, but it's kind of not too easy and not too difficult. If that makes sense. But it's got a 224 attack, which is decent, 142 defense, which is still semi-frail, and then 160 HP. We don't care about that because Crawdaunt has 3k HP. Well, tier 3s have 3k HP no matter what the Mon they are. So, yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the movesets. So we got Waterfall Bubble Beam, Snarl Night Slash, Waterfall Night Slash, Snarl Bubble Beam, Waterfall Vice Grip, Snarl Vice Grip, and Snarl Vice Grip. Sorry. So, basically, Vice Grip is probably the moveset you want. Like, if we're being dead serious, like, Vice Grip is just it's such a bad move that you should probably whoopsie. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Vice Grip is so bad that you should probably try to seek out Vice Grip Crawdaunts if you can. If you have maps or whatnot, Vice Grip Crawdaunt is probably what you want. If you're using fighters, then Night Slash is what you want. And then if you're using grass types, Bubble Beam is probably what you want. So we'll go over the things it's weak to. So we got Bug, Electric, Fairy, Fighting, and Grass. So I think everybody has something that's really good from these types. They're pretty common types in the meta, so chances are you have one Mon from one of these types powered up. Stuff you shouldn't use is Dark, Fire, Ghost, Ice, Psychic, Steel, or Water moves. Probably not a good idea to use any of those against Crawdaunt. So, if you want a perfect IV Crawdaunt for whatever reason, maybe you just really like Crawdaunt, I don't know. More power to you if you want to max out a Crawdaunt. But if you're looking for a perfect IV Crawdaunt, non-weather boosted, you're looking at 1413. If you're doing it in rain or fog, 1767 would be perfect for Crawdaunt. So we're going to go ahead and we'll talk about the counters, but kind of like with Shiftry, they don't have a counter chart here. I can see real quick over here. Maybe they have something. Let's see. No, they don't. Okay. So, since they don't have it here, let's go ahead and we'll jump back over to Pokebattler and we'll talk about it over there. Alright, so as I did with the Shiftry Raid Boss Guide, or doing the Pokebattler look of things, I guess. We're going to start out with extreme weather, talk about the mons that you can use in extreme weather, and not that you can get extreme weather, but it's just to show you the general counters to a Crawdaunt if you weren't getting weather boosts. So it helps you pick out your teams a little better, I think. So the best, absolute best mon here is Breloom. Hands down, Breloom is the best counter to Crawdaunt because it is a grass fighting type, and being a grass fighting type, it is super effective against both water and dark types. So you could use Bullet Seed, Grass Knot, as you guys probably see here. Well, counter Grass Knot works too, but Bullet Seed, Grass Knot here. It's slightly slower, but in clear weather it would do more damage. You can definitely use counter Dynamic Punch or counter Grass Knot or Bullet Seed, Grass Knot against Crawdaunt. So Breloom is by far the best counter. And then you got stuff like Machamp, and then you have Raikou, Electivire, Luxray, Roserade, Alolan Executor if you're going up against like Bubble Beam. Shiftry works too because it's a grass dark type. And by extension, I think Cacturne will too. So these would be the mons that you can use in extreme weather, and then we could look at like Bubble Beam, like you'll see Alolan Executor does a little better. Yeah, and then there's a few others. I don't think Carnivine was there before. I'm pretty sure Deoxys wasn't there before. So these are the counters in extreme weather. So let's talk about the weather that is best. The best weather to use against Crawdaunt. It's probably going to be. Let's go with clear first. So we'll talk about clear. Okay. So you can see counter Grass Knot, Breloom, still number one. I'm pretty sure Breloom is going to be number one no matter what I click here. It's just that good against Crawdaunt. So if you have a few Berlooms, go for it. But you can see like Sceptile jumps up. We got Victory Bell here. Alolan Executor. Porygon Z with grass moves. If you have a Hidden Power Grass, Porygon Z might be worth trying. Frenzy Plant, Meganium. So we got, you got options here. You got plenty of options, and well, if you have 3 Meganiums and they all have Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, then you could solo this in 101 seconds. So that's still a very, very good solo. It's a guaranteed solo. So if we go to Waterfall, Bubble Beam. Okay, Roserade jumps ahead of Breloom, but like Alolan Executor does way better, and regular Executor does way better. And now you have Latios here, and Groudon, and Cacturne right here. So that's clear weather. So we'll talk about cloudy weather now. And guess who's going to be number one? Breloom. So you could solo a Crawdaunt in 76 seconds now with Counter Dynamic Punch Breloom. Counter Dynamic Punch is like one of the best combos, quick attack, charge attack combos in the game. So if your fighting type has it, like these 4 fighting types do, they're going to do very, very well, as opposed to these 3 fighting types right here that have close combat and focus blast. So, I mean, we get Primeape here. If you want to have a level 40 Primeape, go for it. Donphan, interestingly enough, is on this list. Poliwrath, Hitmonlee. If we change it to Snarl Night Slash, definitely gets better. So, you got mostly fighters jumping up now. Primeape is like 14 now instead of 16. Infernape jumps way up. You got Hitmonchan on the list now. So yeah, Crawdaunt is it's a pretty easy solo. You can use a lot of different stuff against a Crawdaunt. And then if we look at rainy weather, now Crawdaunt is a water type, but you could use certain bug types like Pinsir here to solo Crawdaunt, and while its water moves are boosted, you could still solo it. And let's say you have Snarl Vice Grip, you do a little bit better, like a hair better than if you just had, if you were going up against Waterfall Bubble Beam, for example. So, yeah. Or I guess it would be Snarl Night Slash. Yeah, Snarl Night Slash would be the worst moveset for Pinsir. So, let me go back to not looking at movesets here. So, you have Scizor here, you have Manectric here, Jolteon here. Got a Alolan Golem, interestingly enough, is here. Mewtwo is here, even though Crawdaunt is a dark type and it fully resists Psycho Cut. I mean, you'd be using Psycho Cut Mewtwo only for the Thunderbolt. Like, literally, Thunderbolt is all the damage you're gonna do with Mewtwo. You're not gonna do that much damage with Psycho Cut. So we got Magneton here, Melmetal if you have a Melmetal, Mew. So you definitely can solo this thing. As far as weather, what weather you probably wouldn't want to solo Crawdaunt in, it would probably be foggy weather. Not to say that you can't do it, but things are a bit harder over here because Crawdaunt resists ghosts and dark types, and so those are the only two types that get boosted in foggy weather. And it being a dark type itself, if it has Snarl Night Slash, it's probably going to do a lot more damage. So, yeah. But anyways, I think that about does it. I think you guys get the general idea of, what it takes to solo Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt is really not that difficult. It's got so many weaknesses that you have a variety of attackers to take this down, and it won't take you too long to take it down either. So this is one of the easier raid bosses, but it's not the easiest because it does have decent stats for a raid boss. But yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the battles right now. Alright, so I'm gonna say right now that Vice Grip is not gonna be a part of this video, in the interest of making this video short, and also because Vice Grip is just a really bad move, and pretty much like how you would solo a Vice Grip Crawdaunt is probably how you're going to solo a Night Slash or a Bubble Beam Crawdaunt. So there really is no point. Like, there isn't one particular Mon that does very well against Vice Grip versus, let's say, Night Slash, for example. So that's why I'm not including Vice Grip. But we're starting out with Night Slash here because Night Slash is probably easier than Bubble Beam because you can use fighters against it, and fighters generally do more damage than anything else, really, because a lot of fighters get access to counter Dynamic Punch, as you can see my Breloom has here. So, against this moveset, you mostly want to use fighters. You can use, like, certain fairy types, like Gardevoir and Togekiss. Those are fine, too. But generally, you probably want to be soloing this particular Crawdaunt in cloudy weather, and you're going to want to be using fighters. As you guys can see, I'm using grass types, which is not the best way to go, but I mean, you can use grass types too. It's just, Night Slash is going to be doing a lot of damage. As you can see, it's doing a lot of damage to my Sceptile and my Roserade. Compare that to the Breloom. Yeah, it even took my Sceptile out before I can even take it out. And then I'm using a Psychic type too, so you mostly want to use fighters here. And I think you would do a lot better if you're using all fighters. But yeah, so I mean, there's not much to say. It's not really that bulky, and it doesn't hit that hard if you're using the right counters. I wasn't, so that's why it went down to my 4th member. But like, really, it should only take you like 2 or 3 months to take this down if you're a level 40 player. Obviously, it's going to take you longer if you're not quite a level 40 player. So alright, so last but not least, we have Waterfall, Bubble Beam, Crawdaunt. And this is where you're going to want to use grass attackers, because a grass attacker, such as a Lone Executor, takes very little damage from Waterfall and Bubble Beam. A little different if you're going up against Snarl, Bubble Beam, but if you're using grass type attackers, you really shouldn't have a problem here whatsoever. Because Bubble Beam is just an incredibly weak move. It really is. It's like a 3-bar move, but I think Aqua Tail is better. I have to check that, but I think Aqua Tail is a better water type 3-bar move than Bubble Beam is. So you can see it spamming it a lot. And that's the one thing about Crawdaunt, is all of its moves are 3 bars. So it's going to be spamming those charge moves a lot. So that might be where you might struggle a little bit, because you don't want to keep dodging 3-bar moves, obviously, because they just go on forever and ever and ever. Like, if you just keep dodging every single move from a 3-bar charge move, you probably won't finish the solo. So that's the only part where you might struggle, but this really is not that difficult of a boss. I mean, I'm using Roserade. This is like a Roserade that I use for like Ultra League PvP, and you can see how little damage Crawdaunt is doing to this particular Roserade. So yeah, I mean, there's not that much else to say, because I'm gonna be taking this out in like 80 something seconds, and that's how a lot of these Crawdaunt solos go. They go very, very quick. So as you can see, I'm using the Breloom here, and again, Breloom's not taking very much damage because it is a grass fighter. So yeah, so I got it with like 77 seconds. So in my solo league right now, that'd be like a 77, 78. So yeah. So anyways, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. In the next video, I might do like a Solrock Lunatone video. Like, I have Solrock and Lunatone in the same video. So be on the lookout for that. That's if I can find enough raids to solo to get that video out for you guys. So anyways, I will see you guys then. Keep living the dream. Goodbye.